Oh, hello. Come in, please. Oh, it's so cold outside, isn't it? Do you need a blanket to warm up? No? You're okay? Great. Get settled. Oh. Times like this, I'm very grateful to have all the modern comforts to protect me from the Canadian winter. You know, winters like this used to drive people mad. No? You remember those poor boys from Quebec with the flying canoe? I have it here somewhere. Yes, right here. You see, over 100 years ago, Canada looked very different. There were urban centers, of course, but they weren't really connected. There was vast, seemingly unexplored wilderness in between. The most efficient way to travel was by river. The waterways connected places like Edmonton into Manitoba, Fort York, Montreal, the East Coast. It was by far the fastest and the best way to get goods and resources from one place to another. The men who did this were called, in French Canada, the voyageurs. They would go from one spot to another, ensuring that every place was fully stocked so people could survive the winter. This was great work for the time, in the summer. In the winter, the rivers would freeze over, and sometimes the voyageurs would get stuck. Now, on this particular winter, Christmas had just passed, and it was a hard time for the men. They missed their families, but voyageurs stuck together. Brotherhood and loyalty were very important to them. They would gather around the fire, they would sing songs, tell stories, and when they had the supply, of course, they would drink some alcohol. While this was good work, it is said that you could only do it for so long before you would experience what we would now call burnout. This particular crew had a veteran member, Mark. He'd been a voyageur for decades, and something about missing this Christmas just made him snap. This night, around the fire, he started grumbling. I want to be home. I want to go home. Why can't we go home? Some of the men laughed, blaming it on the rum, saying, Mark, what are you talking about? You've done this for years. You know we can't go home. We're stuck. No, I'm serious. We need to find a way home. We have to go home. And the other men said, Mark, what do you want us to do? Walk? We can't get to Montreal from here. We'll never survive without a fire and shelter. We can't do it. And this just sets him off. Mark stands up and says, I've been doing this for 20 years. Why? For what? To freeze myself for another winter? No, we have to get home. Come on, Mark, stop teasing us. We can't go home. Go to bed. Some of the men leave the campfire, head off to their shelter. There's one man, though, seems interested in what Mark is saying. Martin. Young, voyageur, fresh 18. This is his first Christmas away from his family. He's used to his mom's home-cooked meals, fire, family, presents, the whole thing. He wants to get home to Montreal. And of course, there's a girl. Marie. Martin is head over heels in love with this girl, but they don't have an official promise to be together. They just love each other right now. Martin's worried that without a promise, a betrothal, Marie's going to find someone else, move on. It's time for her to get married, think about starting her family. He goes to Mark and says, You know, I'd really like to make it official between Marie and I. If I could get back to Montreal, that'd be great. Yes, lad, of course. We got to get you back to the city. Martin and Mark hatch a plan. Next day, same scene, around the fire. Mark starts again. Let's go home. We got to get out of here. I'm going crazy. How many birthdays and Christmases do I have to miss for it to be worth it? And the men start again. Mark, come on. We can't go anywhere. This is impossible. What are you talking about? All naysayers, but then Martin pipes up. I'd love to go home. Do you have any ideas? Mark looks, smile on his face. Oh, yes, boy. I have some ideas. Don't you remember that story our grandfathers used to tell us about the flying canoe? We get the flying canoe, go home for a night, come back, no harm. The men look at him. Silence falls over the campfire. All you can hear is the crackling of the flames. Well, Mark, one of the men says, doesn't that involve a deal with the devil? Mark grins. You know it does. You know it does. But we would be fine. We'd make it back no problem. Some of the men get up and leave the campfire immediately. This is late 1800s Quebec. Faith is very important to some of these men. It is what gets them through the winter. And so they are not going to even hear a plan involving a deal with the devil. Mark continues. Come on, lads, come on. You know it's not so bad. You make a promise, you follow the rules, nothing bad happens. It'll be great. One man pipes up. What are the rules? This is important. You see, the devil wants you to promise your soul, but he won't just take it. You have to break the rules for him to take it. The rules are as follows. Mark starts. No saying the Lord's name. No touching of crosses. No alcohol. We can do that, boys. Wouldn't it be worth it to go home for a night? Most of the men are unconvinced. Martin's grinning, though. Looking around, he can see that there are people around the campfire who are interested. Over the next couple days, Mark and Martin work on men individually. By the time New Year's Eve rolls around, they have about 8 or 9 other people with them. They're ready. They make their deal, promising their soul if they break the rules. They get in their canoe. It is stationed on the snow by the water. They start paddling into the snow, and suddenly up the canoe goes over the tree line, and they sail safely through the sky. They land at the New Year's Eve party in Montreal, where all their family is. They burst in the doors. Everyone's amazed. Oh my gosh, how are you here? I can't believe this. Mark finds his family, wife and 2 kids, eating some cake, making merry. They have a great time dancing, laughing. Martin finds Marie. She didn't come with another man. She was waiting for him, but now he knows. He makes a promise to her. I'm going to marry you in the summer. She agrees. They dance. They kiss. The other men who came with them, indulging in food, staying warm inside, friends, family everywhere. Overall, a brilliant night. Too soon, though. It's time for the voyagers to head back to camp. They kiss their loved ones goodbye, get back in their canoe. This ride doesn't feel like the last one, though. It's not nearly as smooth. Rocking back and forth, some of the men start to get nervous. They're above the buildings. What if they crash? What if they hit something? What if they fall? They start yelling, oh my God, what are you doing back there? Oh, mon Dieu! Mark is steering. Martin yells, boys, calm down. We'll make it. Stay calm. He's nervous. He heard the Lord's name. They've already broken one rule. He turns back to Mark to see what's going on back there, and Mark shoots him a big grin. For 1 second, Martin feels better, and then the wind blows Mark's whiskey breath into Martin's face, and he realizes that Mark couldn't stay away from the alcohol supply at the party. He's upset. 2 rules broken. He goes to grab the steering from Mark and wrestle him away. You're in no shape to be steering. We have to get home. No more breaking rules. They wrestle back and forth, and as a result, the canoe goes side to side. The men start yelling more, oh my God, we're gonna die, oh my God. Martin's trying his best to wrestle with Mark, and then suddenly, the canoe hits a church steeple. 3 rules broken. The men start to fall. The canoe starts to fall. Never to be seen. They disappear. They never hit the ground. Never to be seen again. It's said that on a clear winter night, you can still see them paddling up there. Cursed to journey the sky forever. If you're going to make a deal with the devil, you better follow the rules. Tea?